It's now time for the district breakdown. We welcome in Inside High School Sports Insider, Matt Harris, to break down District 24-6A. Matt?
Thanks, Ashley. I can't believe we're finally here. We started these previews with the Houston area private schools all the way back in April, and we're finally to 24-6A, which is our last district season preview. We closed it out with Dickinson, Brazoswood, and the Clear Creek ISD schools. This was a district dominated by Dickinson last season, followed by the Clear Creek schools all bunched up together for the most part. For that reason, I begin with the reigning champs and the team I think is the favorite to repeat in the Dickinson Gators. It's been a while since Dickinson didn't win its district, and I don't see that changing this year. The loss of former All-State quarterback Mike Welch to UH isn't fun, but the Gators have more than enough talent to fill in around the quarterback. I'm not sure who will take over at the QB spot, but whoever it is will have an embarrassment of riches at the skill positions. Dickinson utilized 3 different players at running back last season, and all are back after posting similar stats between them in Asuru Allah, Reggie Sanders, and Donovan Bradley, who isn't the only great Donovan on this team, by the way. Donovan Green is one of the most dominant tight ends in the entire nation, and he'll play college ball wherever he wants. Kyron Smith and Keith Cooper will lead a young defense that returns just 2 starters, but Dickinson has a history of being able to replace talent at a high level. Expect great things from the Gators this season. Next up is a team that rallied to an impressive 7-3 season in the Clear Falls Knights. Quinn Bowen will be one of the best players in the district and perhaps one of the most versatile as well. Bowen saw time at running back and wide receiver last season, and he excelled at both. Pearson Morelli started at running back and will move over to fill a hole at quarterback. Bowen and wideout Luke Vidal will be great weapons for him as he adjusts. The DBs will be the strength of the defense with Tristan Zarella and Caleb Bayless, and the linebackers will be led by Cannon Garza, who's perhaps the best playmaker on the Knights defense. Also in the conversation at the top of the district is Clear Springs, making up a pretty clear top 3 teams in 24-6A in my mind. The Chargers finished 6-5 last season and bowed out to a good Pearland Dawson squad in round 1 of the playoffs. They'll need to find a new quarterback, but there's talent around that spot. Caleb Himes and Marquise Johnson will lead the receivers, while Kai Woods returns in the backfield after running for more than 1,000 yards and 16 scores last season. The defensive line is one of the best in the district and will feature Christian Cardenas and Zaylen Smith, while Michael McBride made an all-district team as a sophomore in the secondary. I think the game between Clear Springs and Clear Falls will decide who gets the 2nd seed and who gets 3rd, and I'm honestly not sure who I'm taking in that one. There are 3 intriguing teams that will fight it out for the last playoff spot, but I'm going with Clear Creek. The Wildcats made a playoff appearance last season despite a 4-7 record, ultimately resulting in a playoff loss to Strake Jesuit. This means I have the same 4 playoff teams from 2019 making the playoffs again this season. Clear Creek is singing a familiar tune to the rest of the teams in this district, given that there's a spot to fill at quarterback, but talent returns at the skill positions around that. Rayfield Conley and Jeremiah Crum form a nice 1-2 punch in the backfield after combining for more than 1,800 yards last season, with Conley accounting for more than 1,000. Dante Frederick is a strong candidate to take the quarterback reins as a sophomore, which I'm a fan of. It would give Clear Creek an established starter for 2 seasons after a growing year in 2020, but we'll see what they choose to do. On defense, Caleb Matthews at defensive end and Dakari Tuckson at linebacker will lead the unit. I think Clear Creek is an obvious favorite for the final playoff spot, but 2 teams interest me a lot moving forward, and I'll start with Clearbrook. The Wolverines bring in championship pedigree and former Duncanville defensive coordinator John Towle to take the reins. The offensive line needs to replace talent, but the Wolverines bring back a talented backfield. Quarterback Cameron McAllister threw for nearly 1,400 yards as a sophomore last season, and Trent Lacey got some experience next to him at running back as well. Jalen and Jason Price return out wide to make life easier for McAllister. On defense, Cameron DeVault will lead the line and the young unit as a whole. The Wolverines leaned on a strong sophomore class last season and could do so again in 2020, with the most likely young contributor being Zion Little. Success won't come immediately for Tao, but a young squad will have time to adjust to him, and Clearbrook could become a problem for 24-6A in the future. The other team that could challenge for the 4th playoff spot is Clear Lake. The Falcons fell off to a 3-9 season last year after a playoff appearance in 2018. The offense will return just 3 starters and needs to be rebuilt. Tyler Durst saw some time as a sophomore last season at quarterback and figures to be the full-time starter this season. He'll have some good targets to throw to in Brendan Lyon and Rodney Searles, but the strength of the team will be the defense. Mark Wilson and Hayden Burton anchor will be a strong defensive line, while Eric Hunter and Julian Humphrey will hold down the secondary. Clear Lake will definitely compete, but I think the lack of answers on offense holds them back this season, which is why I have my playoff picture how it is with Dickinson, Clear Falls, Clear Springs, and Clear Creek. The final team to discuss is Brazoswood, who struggled to an 0-10 season in Coach Danny Young's first year at the helm. There are a lot of questions to be answered this year for the Buccaneers, and quarterback will be one of them. Whoever steps into that spot will have the benefit of a good offensive line led by Cade Stroud and Trevor Dyson, while Cameron Whipple moves to running back. The wide receivers are led by Damian Leal, who also plays safety. And speaking of which, safety is one of the defensive strengths for the Bucs, with Leal teaming up with Reed Mitchell. The best defender for Brazoswood is lineman Caleb Manning. The goal for the Buccaneers will be to get on the board and put together a few wins to build momentum for the future. For the final time this summer, that leaves me with my team and player to watch. My team to watch is the Clear Springs Chargers. The funny thing is, I'm not even sure if they wind up locking down the 2 seed, but I think if there's any team in the district that can challenge Dickinson for a district title, it's them. Dickinson was the only district team to beat Clear Springs last season, and the need to break in a new quarterback could be enough for the Gators to slip up against a talented Clear Springs squad. I'm not saying that's a likely outcome at all, but I'm very interested to see where Clear Springs finishes this season, making them my team to watch. My player to watch is Dickinson tight end Donovan Green. I saw Dickinson play at Allen last season. Green was one of the most impressive pass catchers I've seen in a while. My other favorite pass catcher in Houston is North Shore's Shadrack Banks, but Green couldn't be more opposite with how he gets it done. Green is a big tight end who also possesses the athletic ability necessary to flex out to receiver on occasion. He runs good routes and he's pretty fast for a player of his size at 6'4" and 220 pounds. He's basically unguardable. I typically tend to pick quarterbacks for my player to watch because of their vital role in a team's success, but the lack of returning quarterback talent made it the perfect chance for me to pick a tight end. Green is one of the most impressive players I've watched, and I would definitely recommend going out and catching a Dickinson game to check him out for yourselves.